Hey my Pokemaniacs, it's Pokematic here, and sorry for not uploading a video to where I'm actually talking, but that's because I've been working with editing software and quite a few other things as well for my computer. But today I'm going to be doing a video on my top 10 favorite Pokemon. And I kind of figured, well, at least this will jumpstart my career as a PokeTuber, or at least get me started somewhere along the line. Because I am working my way, I am trying to design myself a new logo. I'm still trying to do everything, you know, a normal YouTuber would, but Pokemon based. So that's the reason why it's dubbed the name PokeTuber. Anyway, I will be naming off my top 10 favorite Pokemon, and I'll just be sketching here in the background while I have pictures floating around in the editing. Anyway, let's get this top 10 started with number 10, Larvesta. Larvesta to me is actually quite interesting considering it is a bug fire type, and dual typings to where they're weak to each other, you know, electric, let's see here, electric water, I've seen on Rotom, and what was the other Pokemon that had it? I don't remember. Anyway, I see him as quite, well, interesting, honestly. And Larvesta is really awesome. Not to mention Volcarona looks completely awesome. At number 9, we have Absol. Absol is a very, very interesting Pokemon, because in the anime, it's known as the Pokemon that appears before something bad happens. And that's the reason why people learn to hate Absol, but Absol actually appears there to try to warn the person about what's going to happen. And I think that's really cool, honestly. I mean, wouldn't you just want, like, random Absol to come up and tell you, hey, look, you're going to die tomorrow, you better run. No, I'd love to have that happen. And, well, it's actually a pretty awesome Pokemon. I mean, it's a pure Dark type, honestly, and well, gives it the immunity to psychic types, but it's still pretty cool, honestly, including its Mega Evolution, which gives it the appearance of a godlike, or not a god, like an angel, as in like a guardian angel, and I think that's really awesome. And anyway, in number 8, we have a tie with Scyther and Scizor. Now, let's talk about them let's just talk about them one at a time. Scyther, to me, I caught that in the bug catching contest in Pokemon Soul Silver, which was my first game I've ever played, like I said. And my first Pokemon game. And anyway, Scizor is more or less the Iron Man version of it. To get Scizor, you actually have to trade a Scyther while it holds the metal coat. And I think that's really cool. It changes from a bug type to a bug steel type. Although it does give a quad weakness to fire, but hey, you actually got him great fighting type for him. Well, you resist electric a lot more. You're easier to go against ground, I think. Oh wait, no, steel's weak to ground. I was thinking of another type. Anyway, these two are honestly the best, and you cannot have one without the other, literally, because one has to evolve into the other. But anyway, at number 7, we have Banette. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I've always pronounced it this way, so this is how I'm going to pronounce it. Banette is a Pokemon dubbed in the first Ruby and Sapphire, I believe, to being a toy that a child would throw away, and now it's turned itself into a Pokemon, and I've been too busy talking that I haven't continued sketching. Anyway, I think makes me feel sad for the Banette, honestly. And it makes me want to be the person to help it out. And, well, I mean, look at its Mega Evolution. I mean, seriously. It is awesome. And plus, I love ghost types. Although my favorite type is yet to be explained, but I quite love ghost types, honestly. And ghost types are actually one of the few types I'll actually use competitively. And, well, Bayonet, for me, well, I've actually, Bayonet was the first ghost type Pokemon I ever used. Considering I didn't know, well, what it was when I evolved it, when I caught it in as a Shuppet. But once it evolved into Bayonet, I did a little research back on it, and I thought that was really interesting about it. And it makes me kind of feel sad for it. Anyway, alright, next number. At number 6, I told myself that I could only have one legendary on here, or otherwise the thing would have 2 or 3 legendaries already on here by now. And I'd have to have one legendary on here, and this one would be Lugia. Now, Lugia for me was the first legendary I ever caught. And, well, you know, nostalgia and all. And, well, it is a, let's see here, it is a water psychic type, if I'm not mistaken, or a flying psychic type. In the game, it is under the ocean in the Whirl Caverns. Please forgive me if I say these things wrong. I am just going off by memory, and I'm talking about my actual opinion, so, yeah. Anyway, Lugia actually in the anime had, I think it was a kid, and I thought that was pretty cool, giving you a little intel about legendaries. And, well, even though Ho-Oh was the first ever legendary to be seen before it was even created in the game, or before it was even announced in a game, Lugia has, I don't know, a bit of nostalgia for me, because I remember catching it with the Master Ball, did not know there was such thing as a Mewtwo, and remember not being able to get it, but my friend could. But it didn't matter to me. I loved Lugia, and I still used him competitively, and he was actually the best thing on my team, helping me get through Lance and any other. Helping me get through any other trainers or through any trouble. Alright, next on number 5, we have Dragonite. I mean, look at this Pokemon. How could you not want a dragon like this? I mean, other dragon types are really cool, honestly. Like Salamence, Dragon, Fraxure. But with Dragonite, it's an awesome dragon type. It's very hard to level up because at level 50s or so until it finally evolves into Dragonite, because it goes from Dratini to Dragonair to Dragonite. And anyway, the point is, Dragonite is an awesome dragon type, and I actually love using him competitively, because, seriously, who will not be afraid to fight this thing in an online match? I mean, seriously, unless you have a way to combat the dragon type power, you're screwed, honestly. It's just as simple as that. I mean, but anyway, other than the other dragon type Pokemon, it is cute and lovable. I mean, look at its face. I mean, seriously, it's so adorbs. Coming in at number 4, honestly, we have Charizard. And, well, yeah. I've played through Kanto before on my Pokemon Fire Red, and, well, it was actually worth playing because I've always wanted to play it. I saw this one Let's Play of Sugar Conroy's, and I wanted to at least try the game for myself. But at the time, I didn't know what emulators were, so I didn't really play it until I actually got the Fire Red cartridge and played it, and oh my god, was it awesome. Charizard, I of course picked because my most favorite typing in the game is Fire type. I wonder where you got that. Anyway, yeah. Charizard is a flaming dragon, for God's sakes. I mean, for God's sakes, his tail's on fire. But, although it looks like a dragon, it ain't one, unless you Mega Evolve it into his X form. Which I actually use competitively. Every once in a while. And I remember Charizard being one of my friend's favorite Pokemon, and it was the most... He loved that Charizard to death. Although, at the time, I loved a different Pokemon. But he really loved Charizard, and after a while, it really grew on me, to the point where I was using Charizard competitively so much. And, well, yeah, there's not much else to explain. At the next number, at number 3, we have Delphox or Greninja. I couldn't choose between the two because Greninja I'm using now in my ORAS playthrough, which I'm playing through on my own time, and Delphox was the starter I chose for X and Y. I wonder why. Anyway, I did not know that Delphox, once it was fully evolved, it would become a fire psychic type, coming on into like a witch form. And anyway, it has a stick that is constantly on fire, which honestly is really cool. Like, really cool. I loved using this Pokemon, setting up Future Sight, using Psychic, Flamethrower, Fire Spin. I did a lot of cool stuff with Delphox. And Greninja right now, I have him with his hidden move. I do not remember what it's called, but whatever move you used last, your typing will change to that, which honestly I think is a very cool ability. Gives him the more of like a ninja. Makes him feel more and more like a ninja, because ninjas adapt to their surroundings. And both of them actually seen. Sorry for the cut there. Tyranitar was the first Pokemon I ever seen, because my friend, he was into Pokemon before I was, and I didn't even know what a Pokemon was. And then he showed me a trainer card with Tyranitar on it, and I thought it was the most awesome thing ever. I still have the card to this day, even though my friend moved away, and, well, we don't really keep in touch anymore. But I keep that Tyranitar card close, because it reminded me of the first day I learned about Pokemon. And now I'm excited every time a Tyranitar comes on to the anime. And I'm actually really happy to use it in competitive. And that's why I want to keep it at number 2. Now, for number 1, I just could not choose between these Pokemon. We have a 3-way tie for first place, and I'm going to talk about them separately. Coming in, 1 out of 3, is Typhlosion. Typhlosion, well, of course, like I said, Soul Silver being my first game I've ever played, of course I was going to have to choose the starter, because this Pokemon was the first Pokemon I ever let to go to level 100, the one I used to beat Red with. Considering all my other Pokemon were dead, I had to use Typhlosion against a Blastoise. And the Blastoise used Hydro Pump, and took my Typhlosion down to 1 health. And Typhlosion pulled through for me, and I was the most happiest kid ever. And to this day, I actually still use him. And although he is not the strongest out of all the other fire types, and not at least as much diverse, because he's pretty much the only one I know of, or the one I can think of, that is still just a pure fire type. because others are Fire Flying, Charizard, Fire Fighting, Emboar and Blaziken, and Fire Psychic, Delphox. He's pretty much the only one in his final state that actually stays a pure fire type, and I love him for that. God, I can just keep on rambling about him, but I have to get to the others. Coming in 2 out of 3 is the Eevee. No, not the Eeveelution's normal Eevee. Because when I played through Soul Silver, Eevee I got from Bill, and I just gave him an Everstone, and he stayed that Eevee, and he is actually the most OP Eevee I could have ever made. I do not remember his nature, but I remember the moves I had on him was Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, I think, and Thunderbolt. And he was very, very strong. And he was so strong to the point I actually moved him to my X and Y, and I still use him competitively. He still dominates quite a bit, even though he has the lowest state, and most people actually want to evolve him instead of keep him as an Eevee. But I want to keep him as an Eevee. I mean, who wouldn't want to have him as a pet if you could live in Pokemon world? I mean, look how adorable he is. He may be cute, but he knows how to fight. And now, the last one, and the other one that came in first place, is Lucario. Of course, Lucario is a fan favorite, and I'm not going to go too diverse into it, but Lucario was the first one I ever got out of the Safari Zone, as well as his first form, Riolu. And he was also the first Pokemon I ever let evolve through friendship. Eevee was second with Espeon, because I heard from a friend that letting an Eevee evolve through friendship will get you an awesome Pokemon. So I did it, but it was a different Eevee. Anyway, back to Lucario. Lucario is like the most awesome Pokemon, and I actually use him in my Diamond and Pearl Let's Play that I'm doing on my own still. And he dominated Cynthia's team, like, very harshly. I believe his moves would be Bone Rush, Aura Sphere, what was the other moves? And I do not remember the other moves. Typical, my brain. Anyway, as Lucario is dominated, he actually dominated into my heart. And then once I realized in X and Y that you get a free Lucario, I was the most happiest human alive. I was the happiest Pokematic alive, honestly. And now, I actually still use that Lucario that you get through X and Y, and he is the most OP Lucario, especially when I'm in a double battle with Charizard. But, anywho, those are my top 10. I hope you guys really enjoyed this content, and expect more edited videos like this, and a lot more trying to push out better videos. I'm sorry, that's what I've been trying to figure out, how to push out better videos, how to be a better YouTuber, how to do everything different. I'm trying to change up my YouTube channel a little bit, but not a whole lot. Anyway,